Businesses, assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.
Titties, big ass, motherfucking titties. That's such a powerful song. This sounds hella crazy to say big ass titties after.
As we're rooting for everybody black.
Hey, you look, man. I'm rooting for everybody black, and I'm rooting for black titties. So you
right.
know, isn't it like breast cancer awareness? I'm rooting for everything. Rooting for titties and black businesses and everything.
Sure.
What's good, everybody? What's good, y'all out there listening? Good news, fam. Just a dope ass fam. Everybody. Back in here with another one. The good brother, Kire, back in here again.
What's up, people?
What's going on, man? Shit, Kire, man. This is Shakeback episode. Everybody been having, weeks and this, that, back to back, man. I'm really glad you're here, bro. Like,
thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man. You had a scare for a minute.
Oh, yeah. I had for those who don't know, I had a little accident last Sunday after my show.
Yeah. Shit, man. Did life come at you fast? Shit.
Yeah, listen, shit just it happens quickly, and yeah. Well, I passed out. They don't know why. All tests are negative for seizures and a stroke. And the eye specialist is saying he is very doubtful that I will regain vision in my left eye again. I'm staying positive because nothing's 100%, so we don't know.
True. I mean, like, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's a whole lot of shit, like, just every day. Like, I follow, like, mad fucking, like, new shit or, like, upcoming technology shit. And, like, legitimately, I know people sometimes used to, like, somebody might think you say that just to be, hopeful, but it's really wild shit out here, like, on a daily basis. But yeah, man, that was crazy, man. But like, just being, and Kire is, like us here, like he was a new addition to the network, but it was dope to see, like, like people say, we family, we whatever, but I can see from what I've seen, like, just vouching, like, and just on some other situations, like, it is like a real family vibe out here, over here at the Good News.
Very much so. Very much so.
I fuck with it, man. Like, I know I can speak for E when I say we are really, really glad to be here, and there's good ass people here. So that was good. Like I said, man, it was good that you in good health. Good that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because I don't know, man. I was talking to me and E had been, like, talking off and on, like, throughout the week and stuff, because we had it's a group chat with me, him, and, like, one of our best friends. Shout out to Justin. And it's just like I don't know what it was with, like, between September, October, but it has just been, everybody kind of, you just kind of talk about, funny stuff, this stuff, that stuff. You just gotta be like, so we were just talking the other day, because E kind of been having, just like everybody dealing with life, like, just this.
Right.
This past week, and like the week before, and like the week before that, it was me doing some other stuff. So we was in the chat, and our bro hit us with his shit. He was like, "Oh shit, man!" He's like, "I just thought it was just me," and we had to laugh. And it was just like, shit. Just I don't know, like, shit just comes. It seems like in bunches, but
hell yeah, because like while I'm in the hospital, I call my dad because I'm not from here, so I call my dad to tell him what happens, and he's just like, "You serious?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Who the hell gonna joke about that?" So then he hits me with, "Well, on Friday, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer." I said, "Well, God damn, life just, when it rains, it pours."
Yeah, I just stand by that. Like, it just, I don't know, things like come in bunches, but I feel like there's I'm a big fan of, like, just balance in my life and balance into something. Like, at some point, the shit has to swing the other way. So
all
it's
the
just
time.
Like, yeah, so it's just like, you just kind of, it sounds like some hokey shit that anybody says, but it's like you just got to kind of plant your feet, because at some point, really, the shit will swing back. You just, that motherfucker be punching on life will.
Right. And I told the doctor, I said, well, there's nothing I can do. I said, because she was telling me what the eye specialist told her, and I'm like, well, I said, ain't nothing I can do. I said, I could just roll with the universe. I said, if my sight comes back, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I said, ain't nothing I can do. I can just roll with the universe. That's just my attitude.
That's I mean, like, yeah, that's the best way to like. I mean, that's like shit. That's the only way you can go about it. Like, honestly,
because
like,
I mean, I just can't. Yeah.
Not even, and not like people say that. I think in a defeatist tone, like it's the only thing you can do. But like, it's really just there's there's power in like sometimes just you control what you can control.
But, right, and I'll be, you know what, and one of my good friends, she taught me about surrender. You know, just surrender your shit over to the universe and just go.
Yeah, man,
and that's what I really did. Like, when they told me I might not be able to see, I said, okay, well, you know what, universe, take it. Do what you're going to do. Hopefully, you'll give me my sight back, or at least some of it.
Yeah, because it just, it's trips how, like, I don't know, something small like that, like, at the end of the day, it's crazy, like, that could have been something even crazier. Like, yeah.
I know, like I said, it just happened so fast. You know, and it taught me that life just happens so fast. Like, the minute shit don't even matter.
Yeah. That is a fucking theme for the week. Like, just with your stuff and then the stuff that, like, you know, like I said before, like, everybody else has been kind of hitting on here and there with just our own, like, regular just day-to-day lives and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I really, like, I've been sitting here just since before we got started the show. I'm just like, man, I don't even know what the fuck been going on this week, bro. Shit, I've been ripping and running, doing this, you know, checking in with you know, with my people and shit, which I see a lot of people post that. And also shout out to Will, because Will be posting, like, a lot of that hardcore mental health shit, but
he does.
That shit, like,
he on my show tomorrow.
Oh, dope. Yeah. Between him and
look
the
who
man
made it.
of the motherfucking hour, man. You know, shit, I don't know, man. Nigga need theme music, man. E pulled up. And we was just talking about, bro, just like life been slapping everybody across the ass and shit, bro. Like, so, but yeah, man, like we in here. One time for the one time, man.
Thank you, sir.
The great and powerful EJ in this. Yo, I know I'm completely just off topic from whatever we were just talking about. My nigga E got the best shirt. Like, when I say, bruh. Bro, that is. We about to get ignorant. Oh, my nigga, that is. For y'all who don't know, man, this is. Oh, it's not just Outkast. This is Stank on your Outkast.
Right.
Oh my God, bro.
This is the original.
This energy. Like, I was just talking about, like, the group chat, and just like niggas just had no choice but to go look. Niggas was in the group and just simultaneously talking about just back to back shit, and it was just I would say, like, you know, like, I've known these niggas, like, for a long time, but, like, your brothers, because we was just ending each other's sentences, like, niggas can't sit here. Niggas got to get up. Niggas got to go to work. Niggas could go in there, do some push-ups, fucking eat a sandwich. Like, you can't sit in that shit, bro. So,
yeah, man, for me, can't do it. It's the Mike Singletary. Can't win with him. Can't win with it. For me, man, I first off, sorry I'm late, y'all. Life in LA traffic is two of the worst things in the world. Life in LA traffic. To me, man, you know what? You can't dwell on shit, bro. Like, you really, really can't. You really, really can. Like, that's just really my mood right now. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's a different type of, I don't know. Some people wallow in the loss. To me, I celebrate the survival sometimes. Like, when I come through my losses, like, when I come out clean on the other end, and when I say clean, I just mean alive. Like, in whatever condition I come out that bitch, like broken arm, shot, stab, whatever, like, I'm alive. Like, I'm good. Like, we gonna push through it, so I'm gonna celebrate the survival more times than not. And for me, that's kind of the situation, just, you know, everything that's been happening this week and everything. So for me, man, I celebrate my survival of certain situations. So I look at,
what's up?
I don't know, man. Like, I just look at it that way. Like, I truly just, after this week, man, the nigga realized that he built different.
No, yeah,
I realize,
like,
and some of your tests in life, some people need to realize that. Like, think back to what you was going through a year ago and recognize how strong you built.
Facts.
Sometimes niggas need to realize that when you in your current storm, think back to where you was a year ago. You was going through the worst shit in your life probably back then too, you thought. Right now, you probably can't even remember it.
True. That's 100% facts, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to celebrate the survival and understand, like, go through your own resume. Like, when you look at yourself, you should create that resume of yourself for all the shit that you conquered. Sometimes I feel like we forget what we overcome so quickly, and we hold on to our failures for so long. Like, the things that we fail at, we remember them shits forever. The things that we succeed at, we skip right over them shits. I'm not saying living your successes forever, but sometimes you got to run down your resume when you get into, like,
oh, absolutely.
Like, when you're approaching that new endeavor, Like, you need to sometimes run down your resume to yourself and remind yourself, like,
Yeah.
what
I agree.
what is the criteria that you have that's going to allow you to overcome this? Like, I done beat this, and this, and now I'm going to sit here and wallow about this that don't make sense.
What am I trying? Oh, for this is like a I'm trying to make an example, but not like try not to get. This is my moment where I'm gonna pull like a super old EJ. Like I don't feel like getting anybody's shit right now, but it's been, like just like I've said before, just a week of shit. But like you're saying, like living your successes, because my favorite line is like you can have your bad moment, but don't live in it. So when I was the revolt thing is coming up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
as you're doing the check in and you buying your shit, just something little it was like they got a thing where you can put yourself as an aspiring whatever, and I was just like, hey man, fuck this nigga, I'm on the radio for real. Like,
yeah,
and that was in the midst of like the week before last. So so nigga, I'm in there and I just something just said, and it felt just like what you said. I was just like, hey man, nigga, fuck this. I do this. Like I'm in here. I do this for every week. I'm on the radio. Like I'm not aspiring shit. I'm out here. Like
my nigga, look, they gonna feed you humble pie till you die. Like sometimes you gotta remind yourself and you ain't gotta be cocky, you ain't gotta be arrogant, but the facts is the facts.
I
Like,
think
to
people
state the facts ain't no
underestimate-
bullshit. Like that's sometimes we gotta do that to people and even to ourselves. You gotta do that to the motherfucking mirror every
you
once in a
absolutely
while.
gotta do that
Especially
to
to
yourself.
Yeah, you gotta look in the mirror and tell that motherfucker like, oh, you don't know what I've done.
Right.
You don't know. Let
I
me run
think-
it down for you. Sometimes you gotta remind
Remind
that
yourself.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
for
think
real.
there's a bit of like a oversaturation of you want to be humble, you don't want to be like an arrogant person. But people, I think, like we just said before, like before you walked in, like the term balance, like people just
But I think that's why we have an oversaturation of depression and
Yeah.
all of those things
Yeah,
is
yeah.
because nobody is allowed to be confident anymore.
yeah,
Like,
people
because
don't. I don't think people know how to
you-
balance it out. Like there's
Yeah.
confidence and then there's
Yes.
arrogance. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, and I
At
think
all.
no. I think people just don't know how to balance it, and I think that's why we see so many people that are sad and need so much outside gratification is because you're not allowed to like yourself no more. Because if you like yourself, somebody feels some type of way about you. You cocky, you arrogant, and I think that's the problem now. That's why everybody looking for everybody else to like them, and that's why everybody else need Instagram.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about nobody else. I like me.
And people are looking for validation. I always say, if people, soon as you realize that validation is really for parking only, you'll be better.
Oh yeah,
Kyrie, you better pass that collection plate.
yeah.
Ooh,
You'll be much
Kyrie
better.
got quote on bulls,
boy,
nigga.
boy.
Shit.
And that's a fact, man. Like, to me, and that's just it. Like, I like my motherfucking self. That's why I got 2 pictures on Instagram. I don't need y'all to like my pictures. Like, motherfucker, I like my own self every goddamn day. Every time I find a mirror, I double tap. Like, I don't give a fuck about, I don't need outside gratification because that shit gonna come and go like a motherfucker. Like he said, that validation is really only for parking, my nigga. Like, you cannot be looking for other people because it's gonna be times, peaks and valleys, bro. Peaks and valleys. When you in that valley, you in that bitch by yourself. You in that valley, you in that bitch by yourself. Ain't nobody around to cheer you on when you in that moment. Nigga, that moment, that dark spot.
Shit, quiet.
Exactly.
Nigga, boy, it's quiet. Ain't
quiet.
nobody around. It's just dark.
Hello.
Nigga, ever heard dark?
Oh shit, this really quiet.
Nigga, ever heard the dark?
Yeah.
Nigga, know how alone you got to be to hear the dark? All right, nigga, fuck around and find out. Ain't nobody around there to
shit,
cheer.
you make noise.
Ain't no double tap.
Get me in here talking and shit.
Ain't no double tapping on no pictures. Ain't no sending no DMs. Ain't nobody gonna comment on no pictures. Ain't nobody gonna send no text. Ain't nobody gonna comment.
No
Ain't none of
quiet
that.
time.
It's gonna be quiet time, bitch. And if you don't have it yourself,
I think people should have this type of like what you're talking about. I think people should have a bit more of those moments. Like I feel like there's a bit of people, like there's a lot of positive shit up, but there's not enough messages I think to talk about embracing, like really, really embracing. Hey man, this shit sucked. Because on the like you just said, like on the other side of, like you just said, you check your resume. That is you on the other side of, hey nigga, I done went through some hard shit. Like I'm built. You know, I'm kind of built in this motherfucker. Like you don't really know that if you've never had. And ain't nobody saying go out there and be like a fucking piece of shit. But you have like life experiences and just hardships are not something to run from. I feel like a lot of it is promoted. People run from those, and you should have those.
You want
should
to know
take
why?
your lumps a
I
little
always say this. I say niggas want to protect their perfection. See, you don't want to experience nothing in life because this idea that you have of your own self, like your own idea of your own perfection, like you've never fucked up anything or any situation. But that's because you've never, like I hear people be like, I ain't never been dumped. Well, how many relationships have you had? 3. Bitch, what? But what? You ain't never had no experience doing, you ain't lived enough.
Right.
I'm like my granny now, keep living. Like, that's the problem, is that we run from these experiences so often because we want to protect that perfection, because that, again, we have to keep that validation from everybody else. And when you do that, you got to, it's like being a boxer. Like, if you lose a fight, all the critics is going, all the analysts, they going to talk about you.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be Floyd Mayweather. Everybody want to be undefeated. Nobody want to be Muhammad Ali, the greatest, even though you got 3-4 losses.
You know, I got
People fail to realize everybody want to be Floyd Mayweather now. You undefeated. You come out this bitch clean, undefeated, because they don't want to take the loss and hear what comes with it or deal with what comes with it. Picking yourself up.
No, that just sparked in my mind. It is something. I swear, I'm not like the most. I don't know nothing about the stars and shit, but it's something with this month and this back. Because fucking shout out to Errol Spence and like, you know, and his family. Because dog,
God bless that man,
bro. It's just shit happening. I was like, I saw that. Like I was the other day. I think I was. Didn't I put that in the group? I was talking to Jay.
I've been so disappointed.
Yeah, I was talking to Jay about it. But like, I'm getting my car. I was just changing my oil. So I'm talking to because I go to the shop a lot. So I'm talking to bro, and he, you know, he saw the cap. Shout out to the good news. So he thought he was finna hit me with it. So he just starts talking. He's like, did you hear about Errol Spence? And I was like, nah, man, I know, like, he had a fight or something. And he was like, nah, that nigga showed me the videotape. And I was like, in what world does, like, it just all kind of started, you know, me and my dumb ass will sit up and think. Mm-hmm. You know, we just talked about you. I'm like, bro, it's too much shit going on. Something cool got to come out. Somebody got to drop something.
No, yeah, like I was telling Jay, and when we was in a group chat, and we was all like putting those problems in there from the month, I was like, you can't win the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like when shit was going too good, I looked like I braced for it. Like I braced for it. Like unfortunately, like what my impacts were, like what damage I took was like the worst possible damage that a person can take. But for me, it was just like I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I literally have won all of 2019, nigga.
That shit did come in levels.
Like literally won all of 2019. Right. Like I haven't had nothing in 2019 happen to me. Like in no area of my life, like relationship, work, that I can consider even like that I can consider not a win in 2019.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, no one wants to lose. And it shouldn't be counted as a loss. It should be a lesson. And it's in them lessons or them losses that's what builds you. It's not the wins.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's why I say, like, that's why I came here and said this week, like, this week made me realize, like, I'm built different.
Yeah.
Like, I'm built different. Like, we'll talk off air about everything just because, like, publicly on air, I'm not ready to say, right. Yeah. But for me, like, it was one of them things that it shake you to the core, shake your foundation. And for me, I still came out, like, as whole as possible, that you can come out from that situation. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was one of those things that, and not even I was saying it. Like I was just going through my natural processes, like while going through the situation, and other people around me was like, "Yo, my nigga, you are a whole different animal." Like whole different. Like those people in your life that have raised you, that always look at you as a child, like they see me go through the situation, and they was like, "Nigga, you're different, you different." And so it's that shit right there that make you. Sometimes, you know, other people will see it on you before you see it on you. Sometimes That's you'll true. Be sitting there thinking you in the worst shape in the world. Other motherfuckers be looking at you like, Kyrie so goddamn strong. I don't know how this nigga doing it. I don't know how the fuck he doing it. Like, nigga, this, I don't know how. But it's like, to you just like, nah, nigga, I got to get up today.
Right.
I just got to get up today. I just got to be Kyrie. Yeah, like, y'all amazed by this. This is me and this is what I know.
Yeah, I think in certain situations people are just used to, I guess, how they would handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like given anything in that group, anybody else, you would hear them like,
oh no, without a doubt,
you would hear them like fall out or
it's
whatever.
It's on Instagram, like, it's on.
Yeah, if you'd have picked any of us out of that group, any one of those situations, they'd have been like, but it's like, okay, it ain't like you don't have your, and it's not saying like you don't have your moments, because for me personally, like shit comes in waves. You be chilling, laughing, then you know you fuck around and get a sandwich and poof, and then
nigga.
But the thing about, I don't know, I think to me the only difference is people like to live in the booth. Nigga, you stand there, you let it wash over you, then that shit will end. There's no way you can sit in there, and even the way you say when you can't be all extra awesome all the time, you can't sit there in that wallow. If you sit there for like, I don't know, whatever your allotted amount of time is, you're trying to be there.
I don't make permanent decisions on temporary emotions.
Exactly.
I don't make permanent decisions on temporary emotions. That whoosh of emotion that you catch sometimes is a temporary emotion. So I'm not going to make a permanent decision to be sad about that temporary fleeting moment. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to deal with that moment, and I'm going to rock with them punches to make sure I don't get too much impact, and I'm going to go through my moment, and then after I deal with that, I'm going to celebrate the survival of that moment, and that's going to get me back going.
I like that.
That part.
Like that's the whole point, is that I will never, ever, ever decide to be depressed over something that is temporary. That is my whole thing.
Pay attention to that small piece of like, you have to find, you know, in every win there's a loss, and every loss you have to find the dub. Like the fact that you just said was really, to me, really potent. Like I celebrate that I survived that whoosh.
And and it's no more losses. Like, I'm like Kyrie right now, man. It's no more losses. Only L's we taking is lessons.
There you go.
either win or you learn something.
Yeah.
For the rest of 2019, 2020, and the rest of your life, you no longer lose. You either win or you learn something.
That's a bar.
Because the game is to be sold, it's never to be told. What niggas ain't never understood about that is when the game is to be sold to you, you pay a price for that.
True.
So consider that your fucking lesson, the game being sold to you. So whatever you learn, it comes at a price, bro. There's nothing free in this world.
Nothing.
That's information, that's cars, that's clothes, that's houses, that's pussy, that's dick, that's whatever it is that you like. Ain't nothing in this motherfucker free. So understand something. There's no more losses. You're gonna pay for everything. So why not just consider that whatever you feel like you lost, consider that as a lesson for what you gotta learn. Like, nigga, I done lost money. I done lost a whole bunch of shit. I done lost lump sums of money where niggas be like, damn, bro, I'm like, I'm good. Because I only have to pay that much money to find out that person was a fuck nigga.
Exactly.
That was a cheap lesson for me. In reality, like, what I could have really lost dealing with that person, like, to me, that was cheap. That little bit of whatever I lost or you consider lost, how I learned that I need to stop fucking with that person, to me was just a lesson. And that lesson was worth probably whatever I lost. Because it wasn't my life. It wasn't my health. It wasn't my well-being. So I can't harp on it too much. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, like that's one of the things that was on my grandfather's favorite phrase. He's like, "Don't get mad over money. You just bought that motherfucker for insert amount."
That's it.
Like, yeah, okay,
I rented you, bitch.
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
motherfucker just got bought for $250. A motherfucker got bought for $5,000. Whatever the
that price was.
Motherfucker just got bought.
That was your price, and it's okay because everybody got one. Everybody got one. For some people, it may be more. Nigga, come offer me $1 million. Kyrie, goddammit, hey man, hey man. I mean, nigga I ain't gonna let nigga kill Kyrie, but if they like, hey man, for $1 million, I need you to get Kyrie kicked off the station. Hey Kyrie, hey, hey.
So your price is $1 million.
Hey, that means your price is $500,000 to leave the station. But you get what I'm saying, though, right? Because what we gonna do, we gonna figure it out. But a nigga bring me $1 million, I gotta go to Kyrie and talk to him about the situation. Like, hey Kyrie, they want me to get you kicked off the station. They got $1 million. Like, everybody got a price. That don't mean I don't love Kyrie. I'm just admitting to this nigga that if somebody bring me...
Look, that mean Kyrie got to go to
for
station
for TJ, it's $10 million. Like, a nigga come to me like $10 million, I need you to split up with TJ. I'm like, hey, TJ, you want to make $5 million? Like, that's just going to be...
We got to split.
Yeah, that's just
bro,
it. But
like, hey, man, fuck, man, the Just a Dope Ass show is over with. Welcome to the EJ and TJ show, though, nigga.
Exactly.
Goofy.
So that's my whole point, though. But I'm not going to sit here and say everybody has it. Like, everybody has it. So you got to understand something, bro. Like, you can't be mad at people. Like, you just got to understand you bought that motherfucker for that. You bought that lesson for that. Everything is not forever. Nothing that you ever going to experience in this life is forever. This life ain't forever. So how the fuck you going to expect anything in this bitch to be forever?
True that.
Yeah.
Nothing about nothing is forever. So sometimes niggas got to understand, just not a loss. It's a lesson. It's a lesson. Whatever the lesson is, if you lose something and you feel like it was too early, that means you didn't maximize it when you had it. That's the problem sometimes. That's the problem sometimes is that when we learn our lesson with certain things, that's why we take it as a loss, is because we didn't maximize everything we knew we could get from it.
Even that is a lesson.
Right.
But that's your lesson. You taking it as a loss, though, because you feel like you lost the person and you lost time. But the lesson in that loss, quote unquote, is that you need to maximize your time with people and situations and things. You lose a job, guess what? That wasn't a loss. That was a lesson that you need to get your ass up and come to work on time and not sit at your desk and complain about, I hate this job, get on my nerves, and this and that. That's your lesson about that you need not to complain, because guess what? You was complaining like, I can't do nothing with this $22 an hour. Now guess what?
Now you're at $14 an hour.
Boom. or broke.
Yeah.
Or at $0 an hour until somebody else decide to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
put your own,
my nigga, sometimes you got to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas gotta understand sometimes that you gotta just appreciate the situation. If you don't like it, you gotta change it with positivity, not negativity. You're not gonna neg your way out of nothing.
That's the only thing that's gonna change.
No, like even that right there, like even what you said about the job scenario, like 'cause everybody seems to whatever. Like, if it's bad for you, either you get fired, or honestly, my nigga, like maybe that's your sign to go do some shit.
The universe,
the universe, God, you need to go do what you need to. You hit.
This is how it's gonna work. I don't give a fuck who you care to believe in. And with all due respect, I'm sorry to say fuck in the same context as I'm about to say religious names. But God, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, Beyonce, whoever the fuck people believe in, who the gay people pray to, Elton John,
Beyonce.
Y'all pray to Beyonce. Black gay people pray to Beyonce.
He said, y'all, I don't, but yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying is this. I don't give a fuck whoever, whatever, however. If you are not making the moves that you are supposed to make one of two things are gonna happen. If you don't make the move you're supposed to make, whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, will push your ass the fuck out.
That's right.
Now, if it push you out, this is the problem though. Nigga ever been pushed when they wasn't ready? You ever been pushed when you wasn't ready?
Yeah.
You gonna fall hard.
Yeah.
You gonna fall hard than a motherfucker. You ever just put one foot in front of the other and walk out somewhere?
Either you gonna fall.
You
or
ever just walk out on your goddamn own? Compare getting pushed and falling out of a situation to just deciding that I'm gonna walk the fuck out this bitch on my own. What's the pain in the two?
Walk out on your own.
Exactly. But see, you know the problem is, Kyrie, when you walking out of somewhere, you know what you gotta do? You gotta get up out your chair, and then you gotta pull your pants up.
You gotta put forth the effort.
You have to exactly. It's effort and preparation that go into walking.
But if I'm pushed,
it's unexpected.
But if I'm pushed, then I'm gonna follow what my mama always taught me as a child. And my mama's words, when she left my father, she said, either I'm a sink or I'm a swim, and I'll be goddamned if I sink. And that's me.
But some people, everybody don't have that, though. Everybody don't have that. So sometimes I just be telling people, like, you know what's going, if you know you're not built for the war, just make your preparations for your peace treaty. Like, get your preparation in order for your peace treaty. If you know you're not built to be picking yourself up off the ground, just put yourself in a position to never fall all the way down. That's all the and if that means that you got to make sure you know when to walk away from every situation in your life, you understand the concept that nothing is going to be permanent for you. Niggas that try to hold on to shit for everything was the niggas that get pushed down all the fucking time. You going to get pushed down. You going to get pushed every time you try to hold on to something.
People that try to hold on to everything, then the people that's scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, you'll never know nothing better.
Right. And you scared to fly, and you can't get nothing new because you holding on to every damn thing.
You holding on to something because it's so good, but what you realize, you maxed that out.
Do you think the people who, like in your scenario, the people who are like you said, not built for the war, kind of like the people who are scared to get pushed because they don't, do you think they're minimizing their ability to grow and move forward? Because if you're always prepping to never get pushed, you'll never fall, but you'll also never learn how to get up and go nowhere. Like I feel like your ceiling is very low.
I was like, you scared.
Yeah, like because you'll always have your safety net, because you'll always be, okay, I can get out of this, I can maneuver. But I feel like those are kind of those people who, like you said with the relationship thing, I might be messing up the scenario, but you won't maximize out of people because you're so prepared for them to fuck up. So I'm gonna keep you here. Up, you fucked up this, I'm gonna go. Instead of just like I was like that. Like I know that personally. So I'm kind of in the mode now of I will maximize my interactions with somebody, even especially like in a romantic sense. And I'd be like, nigga, if it fall over, I ain't gonna die. It'll hurt, but it ain't gonna kill me. So I feel like, I don't know. Do you feel like that's the same? That's how I interpreted it.
I don't think. I mean, you fear what you don't know. You don't know if you can do this. You don't know if you can overcome something. You don't. So you fear that though. You fear that not knowing. Like for me, if something is new, but I know I can do it, if I can relate it to something I've done before and be like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can jump that. I can jump this far so I can play basketball. Or I can jump this high so I can play basketball. Whatever your correlation to something is, sometimes that allows me to be able to be like, to not fear it as much. But when you completely don't understand something at all, like I always tell you, like there's things that we know, and there's some things we don't know we know. Mm-hmm. Like there's some shit I know in this world. I'm like, I know I don't know that. I ain't gonna fuck with that. But there's some shit I hear that I don't know that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like those are the fucking things that that scare people.
Right.
Like if you know you don't know something, that means you know enough about it to go research it and learn about it. Do that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
But if you don't know something about some shit you didn't know nothing about, like you just didn't even know this existed, and then somebody trying to teach you about it, you still trying to grasp the concept. But like that's like if a nigga run down and be like, "Let me show you the."
Some of the conversations about God.
But that's like a nigga running. Okay, cool. I was gonna use something just in a broad sense.
No, that just sounds like how anybody has a conversation about God.
Yeah, but that's like somebody saying, "Let me show you the immune system of an alien." You like, whoa, aliens exist?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, hold on, whoa, y'all niggas ain't tell us aliens exist. They're like, focus, Kyrie, focus, because this is where they sneeze. You're like, no, but this nigga exists.
Yeah.
Like you would be like, that's what I'm saying. Is sometimes that shit right there fucks up niggas like they can't even, and I think that is what people fear, is that I don't even know enough about this to learn nothing about this to be able to master this.
Okay.
I think that is what niggas fear. And sometimes to me, for some people, I'm gonna say, just speak for myself, that to me is the perfect experience to me, because that lets me come in as a clean slate. When I come, if I know I don't know something about something, I have a preconceived notion of why I never learned it. Do that make sense?
See, yeah, but you're willing to learn. Some people ain't willing because they know what they know, and it's like.
But this is my whole thing. If you didn't know nothing about this at all, if you're a clean slate, you have no accountability in this, so you don't have to worry about failing. Do that make sense?
Yeah.
Failing only comes with the expectation. If you have no expectation for anything when you're walking into something completely new, like I've switched career fields. Like I was an insurance agent and now I work in IT. For me, I'm not gonna say I didn't know anything about IT. Granted, I was pretty computer savvy. I didn't know anything about corporate IT.
Right.
So to me, I was a complete blank slate, just walking in, and I understood that, and I let it be known to people. I was like, I don't know what I don't know about this. Like I just know computers, and I don't know what the fuck I know. Like I don't know this corporate environment shit. So I didn't have no accountability or expectation on myself. So my first boss that ever that I had in the corporate environment, he was like, "Oh, you ain't got to worry about failing because I know you don't know shit. So I have no expectation for you."
See, that was cool.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what people fail to realize is that more times than not, if you have honesty with yourself and honesty about the situation, that's what eventually you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
That's eventually what you're gonna get. Like people don't have an expectation if you admit the truth, but it's when people lie to themselves or skirt situations and things like that. More times you're not even gonna get into a situation. You're just gonna fear it. You're not gonna take those risks to make that career change or make that leap in your life. And that's usually how you end up progressing is you leap of faith. You end up going out on something that you don't really know, and you're just gonna take that chance.
I think people have to kind of embrace the idea. Like I've been working. Like I'm saying this as somebody who's worked on it himself, and I'm not saying I'm there, but I would say actually for years, like just this thought process of embracing, like you said, I don't know, you don't know what you don't know. Like just flat out change. Like the idea that there are things that I don't know, the things that are flat out uncomfortable to me, like I'm embracing, like I'm cool with not knowing shit, and I'm cool jumping into a complete barrel of unknown shit.
But you know what? For a lot of people, that becomes contradictory to everything you've learned in your whole life. When you find out you don't know one thing, that becomes contradictory to everything you've learned in your whole life, because this is why. You go through life feeling like you were properly prepared for everything you're going to encounter.
You realize
in life.
you were not.
Then you come up against something that makes you realize that you were not. So when you find out that you're not prepared for everything in your life, for me, that starts a whole trickle-down effect of now I have to look at who prepared me for life. So now I looked at you with the scope of perfection because you prepared me for everything I had ever encountered. Now I've encountered something that you didn't prepare me for, which now makes me reflect upon your parenting and go, there is at least there's one flaw here. So there may be 2, there may be 3, there may be 4, there may be 5. Like there may be other flaws in your parenting. So now looking at that, the flaws in your parenting, now I have to look at the idea of flaws in my parents. And this starts a whole different, this opens this Pandora's box of things. Sometimes people don't want to see one imperfection in themselves because you have to open Pandora's box to examine and see, why don't I have this? Why don't I know this? Why don't I know how to hug somebody? Why don't I say I love you to people? Why don't these things happen? And then you have to fuck around and go, wow, my mother never said these things. Like you always felt like mom's is the greatest.
But then you have to go back to her, well, not her, but her experiences. Why is she like this?
See, I think that's like I've turned like to me. That's at one point it started out as something that I was like, it made me uncomfortable, but now it's kind of something that fascinates me. Like I feel like people have to. And I'm not really talking about this room, but I think if more people were to embrace it from a sense of it's going to be uncomfortable, but on the other end of that, you start to I understood, me personally, like I started to understand me and my father's relationship is never been like terrible, but we've had our ups and downs for real. It came together once I was like, okay, let me look at me. Now looking at me, I got to look at him. Now if I look at him, I got to look what and like that brought about conversations that I only was able to have with him. One, as a man, but I wouldn't have had those conversations if I never was able to look at him. All right, I'm no longer mad at you because I'm looking at you through this lens. And he was like, honestly, motherfucker, you right. And my dad I got lucky enough to have a dad who was like, I'm going to do that work you did myself through you. So it just, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And you have to, right. And I was actually going to give the same example between me and my father. Cause like some things our relationship, it used to be terrible. Now we best friends, but it used to be terrible. And then my mother is the one who said, you need to know why he is the way he is. And I was like, and like you said, some people don't want to know things. I'm like, why I got to know that? What the hell is that going to do? My mother said, if you learn where he was, then you'll know why he is the way he is. So I did, and we had a conversation, and then I learned about his childhood. So I want to say this to everybody. If you don't deal with your shit from when you was a kid, it will affect you as an adult.
One thing my mama used to always tell me about people, she used to always tell me, watch who you mixing paint with. She used to say, watch who you mixing paint with.
Yo, black women got so many
Let me
bars,
tell you something, man.
I like
Watch who you mix and paint with because of that very reason right there. Is that you might look pretty and you might look nice in your jeans and your hair look nice and you smile good and you look good on Instagram and you got a nice car and you work at a nice place. But did your mama ever say I love you? Right. Did you have a daddy in your house? Do you know the value of a man? Do you know the value of a woman? Do you understand family? What is your idea of being a father? What is your idea of being a mother? How do you plan on treating your kids? Do you believe in chastising? Do you believe in discipline? What is it that... Those are the things that I was taught. My mom used to fuck some pretty hair and some all that. Like, you know, ask these questions because you got to watch who you mix and paint with. Like, you have to know these things about people. You have this disconnect with your father. So now your husband, what about if you don't have the same value on a man that you should have for your husband because you had a disconnect with your father? You see yourself not even in the femininity and the solidarity of your mother. You see yourself as a rock in a relationship like that. So your opposing mate, now you're going to look at him with the expectation of the flaws of your father because of what you grew up knowing. And the idea of the first relationship that you ever seen and knew and grew up in.
Even what you just said about, like, do you know, one of those things you said, do you know love or do you know how to say love or express love? Yeah. Like, people will, like what you just said, like somebody will not necessarily understand. Not to say that your love, like your expression of love is the fucking cornerstone of it, but you don't understand love because of your background. You've never really understood what love is. This is not soft. This is not, some shit is not clingy or what. Like, that's love, my nigga. Like, you don't know love, and it's not a diss. Like, you've never experienced that, but you've never taken the time to inventory yourself. Like,
but I think that goes back to where I say that people will then protect their perfection in the idea of, I do know love, and I'm only going to deal with people who agree with my idea of love.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And those are people who normally don't make you step up and progress. Those are people who just settle for you, and that's protecting your perfection. In your mind, you don't want to deal with the fact that, hey, I don't know this. I don't know this the way I think I know this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I curb the results. I'm going to only deal with people who will settle for what I'm offering and think that's acceptable. Instead of going out here and really going to get what I want and understanding I'm going to have to step up to get that.
Right, get what you want and also get what you need.
Yeah, without a doubt. But then sometimes, and then people do the thing where they curb the idea of what their needs are. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this.
Right.
Like, I've heard men literally because the idea of them not wanting to step up who they are as men and progress progress the women they were pursuing as partners, they will then dumb down their needs as men and just be like, I don't need no woman I just need a woman who gonna shut up and fuck and just be, she gonna chill and she play PlayStation. Like, you will dumb down everything for the simple fact that. But
because we're men, we don't say, we need that emotional connection. We don't say that we need that support that, you want your woman to support you. You want your woman to be there for you. But that's one thing I said there on my show. I love about black women. Black women will hold you down.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think that just comes with but I think the expectation of how much we expected them to hold down is way too high. I think as men, like, we have that expectation of, like, black women gonna hold you down. So whatever flaw I got, she gonna hold down. And sometimes I think the reality of how much weight and how many flaws we expected them to hold down is way too fucking high. Yeah, she can hold down 7 flaws, but why have her hold down 7 flaws? Let's just have her hold down 1.
I think the definition.
How about that? Let's just do 1 flaw.
Needs to be changed too. Like, dealing with my bullshit.
Because I ain't saying hold
like
down.
Like holding down. Just to use us as an example. Holding down would be if, all right, man, you and me got a real opportunity, and like everybody on the Good News got a real opportunity for this to just boom, but we got to sit on whatever the fuck for the next 6 months and really kind of like, niggas got to eat ramen noodles. That's holding me down in the sense that there's a goal in this. Holding me down does not mean I come home and say, look, bitch, and, I bust you in the head. I got somebody else
pregnant, bitch.
Yeah,
I need you to help me with this baby. Like,
that's not holding down, nigga.
That's not doing you dirty.
But now.
But my thing is holding me down is like, look, I'm about to go back to school, so my hours at the job might get cut a little bit, and we sharing an apartment.
Right.
For the next 6 months of this semester, I'm going to need you to accept that we can't go out every week like we used to.
That's holding me down.
Right. But then a lot of dudes, a lot of black dudes, they'll have that at home where she done held you down, you let you go back to school, you come up, you done graduate, you got everything, got your degree, then you done got this great position or your own company. I'll say that. Got your own company. He will, and I got this from my mother. This happened to a woman at her job. And got his couple together and everything. He came home one day and told his wife, "Look, I need somebody who's on my level." Went and got Becky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if anything happens, see, this is the difference between black women and white women. If anything happens to him in that job, Shaquisha gonna hold him down.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna be there. She gonna go get her job, do whatever she gotta do, hold that house together.
Mm-hmm.
Becky going home to her daddy. I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
But so why is Becky looked at as a prize? I always want to ask straight black dudes that. Why is Becky the prize?
You want me to tell you why? Hold on. Let me get this real quick because I'm an athlete and I played football my whole life and I really came up in the environment of this. Let me tell you why. Becky is considered a prize and she's considered to be on a certain level or of a certain esteem because of this. All right. Becky doesn't come with as many scars as a Shaquisha does at that point. Mm-hmm. And let me explain what I mean as many scars. More times than not, when you get a woman that's of that stature, if she gets a guy who starts a company, or they usually met in a high school, college environment. They met in some type of educational environment. More times than not, you get a Barack and Michelle met in college. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But what was her road to college and what was Becky's road to college, or Becky's road to get in the same room? Like, they both end up in the same room, but what was her road and what was Becky's road into that room? Becky's road was her daddy knew the senator, so she just got an invitation to the party. She was a plus one to the party and got to come in. Shaquisha's was, she had to go to college, she had to do this, she had to work her way up, intern at this place, and then come in as an undergrad and then got a grad. Like, whatever her. It's
she got a story behind her. She worked her way.
It's so much more to that, though. So the seriousness of Shaquita, or whatever you want to name her seriousness is always there. She never wants to go back. She's always just on top of what we doing and how we moving, and you can't do that and you can't do this and you can't do that. But for that man, I've worked to accomplish a certain level of success. When I finally accomplish that, I want to enjoy that. Shaquita's not the one that's going to not so much enjoy that. She's going to focus on making sure we never lose that. You know who's going to enjoy it? Becky, who's never had to work for shit in her life and has had everything given to her. She going to jump from daddy who gave her everything to you now who want to give her everything. In your mind, you like, I just want to share a good life with somebody who knows how to enjoy it. In her life, in her mind, she's like, I just want to have everything handed to me, and he's willing to give it to me, so I'm going to go.
But if something happened,
you don't think about that. Because you're now invincible. You've grinded all the way from the hood or wherever your situation was to become this multi-millionaire or own my own company or be my own boss and not have to answer to nobody. I'm never going back. It'll never happen to me. I've learned from everybody else's mistakes and it'll never be me.
But you done.
So now I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my life as a millionaire.
But now you done. Let's just give a scenario. Just saying. Yeah. So you done got all this. You're multi-millionaire.
And I'm not saying all that to say any of it's right. I'm just explaining insight from people I've talked to that have literally.
So now you done blew all this money because we'll buy extravagant shit.
Yeah.
We go out and buy
because we buying shit from when we was 7 and 8 and 9
Yeah.
and 10 and 11. We buying shit that we seen Kumo D with, and we buying shit that we've seen people from our whole
right. We buying
life.
$6,000 belts, $8,000 pants, and $10,000 shoes now.
Yeah.
And Becky's enjoying this, but if anything happens to that contract, if your team cut you, your building, your company collapse, anything can happen. Now you got to start all over again. Shaquisha gonna be that chick that's gonna help you start over. All right, baby, let's pick these bricks up and let's rebuild. Becky going back home to daddy.
Those are things you have to learn.
Those are things. Those
Right.
are those.
And that's what I'm saying. But
Like,
why don't we just realize that?
What you're talking
Because
about.
everybody feels like they Becky is different. Everybody always feels like their situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
See, let me tell you something, Kyrie. There's a million ways for bullshit to come at you. But it be niggas that know 300,000 of them ways that feel like they know the whole game. So you might have mastered 300,000 of them, but guess what? It's 700,000 over here that's still going to come at you, and you ain't never even heard of them, don't know nothing about them, don't know how this game goes. That's the problem that end up coming. Niggas be knowing A, B, C, D, but what about E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N,
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Those be what knock niggas off. You'll never know the whole game.
Now,
That's what every nigga fail to
yeah,
realize.
I think
Every
there's
nigga
like,
go get they white girl and make sure it had one more thing than the last nigga white girl had.
Yeah,
But guess
I think
what?
there
She
are
still don't have
complex-
everything you
there's,
need.
Like, there's compound issues with this. Like what he's saying is a product of you would get into more psychological and black issues because it's like what he's talking about is game that he was taught. But if you don't have a father in the house, if you have all of these socioeconomic issues, you never get to all the game that he might have been taught, that I might have been taught, that you might have been taught because your upbringing. because your environment doesn't pursue it. You
Well,
just want to get out of it.
I wouldn't bring anybody white home, but that's me.
But
Somebody
but
taught
what I'm
you
saying is, but what I'm saying is, you
Yeah,
have
that's
some
my
second
daddy.
generation bi.
Exactly.
You have
Somebody
some,
taught
yeah.
you that.
you have some guys that are biracial, and now they,
Well, I ain't talking about them. And to the
You have some guys who parents made well.
just dope ass podcast community. I'm not knocking anybody but who you date. Date who you date. Love who you love. My only problem with interracial dating is, and I always have to explain this, is the black people who have a problem with their own race. Because like I hear sisters and I hear gay dudes say the same shit. You know, I don't date black. I date strictly white because of this XYZ. That I can't get down with that. No, you can date love who you love, but
I think that's people living in their pain or their bad experience is now taking over is not the blueprint for everybody else.
yeah.
Because like for me, like I can't say that like I would judge you. Like, you know, if love is love, if you met this motherfucker and you were genuinely in love, then it is what it is. But I know what I love. I know what my blueprint is. I know what I'm coming out in the gate with.
I think some people use that.
You know what?
But I think some people use that excuse. Like one of my cousins, they, well, with exception of me, are all with somebody Caucasian. So one of my cousins, his baby mama, who is a trip, but like I told him, that's your fault because you did some shit to her. So now all of a sudden he can't deal with no more sisters. So now he just strictly Caucasian. I got a problem with that.
I think that's just a comfort zone thing. I think we put too much emphasis on the comfort. So let's do this. How about this?
So ain't no sister good because this one. Okay.
I'm not gonna say ain't no sister good.
Okay.
My preference has just become this. So Kyrie, what type of men you like?
Brothers.
I'm not saying that. Let's remove race.
Okay.
Tall, short, buff, skinny.
Okay. I really don't discriminate. My number one factor is intelligence.
Okay, so now dumb dudes is sitting around like this. Kyrie don't want to date us because I ain't the smartest nigga in the world. Kyrie don't want to fuck with me because I ain't
to
no
have
genius.
conversation. Nah,
so
you
because
gotta be a
I
genius.
can't talk about everything in the world, it's everybody's gonna. But what it is that's just my type. That's just my comfort zone. That's just what I become accustomed to. This is just what for some niggas. I don't know what it may be about white women. That's just their comfort zone. That's just really their comfort zone. I'm not gonna say why it's their comfort zone. I'm not gonna say.
But why? Okay, well, yeah, we take race out of
we make race such a big thing, but sometimes let's remove race. And like we said, we always look at a byproduct of something. Let's go to the root of something. A byproduct of why you date her is she white? But what's the root of it? Is it a certain characteristics that are exhibited by a white woman? And for you just haven't ever encountered a black woman that exude those same characteristics. Because there's a black woman for every type of woman there is for any other race in this world. There's a black woman for her.
See, that would be my rebuttal. Like,
For
if you're
type
dating
of-
her because she's white, you're dating her because she's white.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
I
my
think-
thing.
I think some people-
No,
some
I mean,
niggas-
I take
some
that back.
niggas
Like,
is
not
if
any
you
white woman,
ask-
but if your track record is white women, you like white women to me.
No,
I
if your
think
track
so.
record is white women, you like a certain characteristic of white women. What is that characteristic?
White.
Because it's no.
Well, from what I hear, and this is what I've heard from several straight dudes that date white women, they don't. They have less of an attitude. They don't talk back, and they're less ghetto. That's what I've heard.
So this is my
That
whole
sounds
thing.
very
You've only
just
encountered
sounds
one
terrible.
very, 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 very,
I heard it
very,
from more than one
very-
dude, but-
no, I'm not saying you. I'm
Okay.
talking about them men. If I heard a man say that, I would say you came in contact with a very, 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 very small sprinkle of a percentage of black women. If that's the only thing you took from them.
But I don't think it's even that. I think this is just me.
Go ahead.
This is me, my opinion. That I always tell people this. This opinion is that of Kyrie Sinaj, not the Just Dope Ass podcast or the Good News Radio. I think a lot of black men who date white women have mama issues. You got a problem with your black mama. Me personally.
I wasn't gonna say mama issues. There are people who I've encountered in my life, and I'm not saying this as somebody who has not dabbled whatever. And like I said, if you love who you love, I would never
Yeah, have y'all dated white women?
dated?
Okay.
dated. Yeah,
Dated?
dated. I don't know. Yeah,
Nah.
dated is a tough word. Like I know there's some that I've cool with and
White?
we've interacted.
This
Like,
I'm
It's
not
like- it's like
saying
a-
messed around. I said date. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm
actually
saying.
dated.
That's what I was thinking in my head. Like dated. Like that was me thinking. I'm sorry, not like that. But I don't think I've ever dated a white. I've dated women of other races, but nobody who was just like, oh, I'm from the Caucasus Mountains, and no, I've never dated a white woman per se.
I guess I'm
Yeah.
different. I guess I'm different.
like it
'cause-
was like we was chilling. So I mean, people have different words for dating, but we kicked it for a long time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say dating. I've chilled. Like I've kicked it.
whatever your verbiage is. Like
Yeah.
I've interacted with a white.
I've
woman
interacted
before.
with a white woman before. Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Really? Okay.
But it was. But it
because
wasn't.
I need to. I'm me personally. Like I'm the type of person. I need to know why I don't like something.
Well, see, that's
Okay.
my point. Like,
I
you
need
see,
to
for
know
me,
why I
dating
don't like
is
that.
not
For me,
always
yeah.
I fucking
I'm
like
never
you.
just gonna be like.
That's
kind
of my like. Okay,
Yeah.
we can kick it. I need to see what this is.
Yeah, I need
Like
to know
to
why I
me,
don't
dating
like
has always been the interview.
To me, that's the
process.
same thing as this. To never date a white woman and say I don't like women is to never not like white women is to never ever go around no gay people and be like, fuck them gay people. They be trying to rub on your butt and do gay shit to you. You ain't never experienced it to know it.
Well, people say that all the time, and like I tell most of the straight dudes that say that kind of shit. I'm like, they be ugly as fuck, and I'm like, you be the safest motherfucker in the whole club. But that's another story.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying conceptually, how you can judge something and
Yeah.
never ever had no experiences with it, that would have been the
well,
same
this, okay,
thing to
this is me, and this
Never
is me. This is
experienced
why
a
I
white-
said this is me, and I guess it's. I would say I guess I'm like my daddy in more ways than one. I can be cool because I'm cool with some white people. I'm real cool with them.
Yeah.
But I don't trust one enough to date. Now, when I moved to L.A., I put the O in ho. So I made my rounds in L.A.
Gang.
and I went around the gambit, but I never had nobody white. I've done had Korean, Japanese, Filipino, Caribbean.
Oh, you just like fucking
And then-
people who season their food. You not.
So
smart.
you funny. Caribbean. Yeah, I done had the gambit. Puerto Rico, that was Vegas, whatever. Puerto Rican, but
Because the state line
That
is
is-
a different situation.
nobody
That
white.
dick don't count because it was in Nevada. That dick don't count, EJ. It was in Nevada.
Well, it don't count anyway because it was whack. But
Not
was,
on my shit, not on this show, Kyrie. You
sorry.
won't. You say that for tomorrow. You put that on tomorrow.
trash.
but yeah, I just never had
Straight
desire.
face,
I don't know. I
straight
just
face.
never had the desire.
I mean, for me,
never
it wasn't. I don't fetishize it. Like I don't make it a fetish thing. Like where
And
it's
I
like
think
you
that's what they
white.
do to us, though.
Yeah,
another
probably.
reason.
Like
See,
to me,
now
there's certain
that has
things
been
that
a
will.
problem of mine before.
But
of
I
like,
think that's everybody though. Like
yeah,
I think
like I'm getting my black fix. Bitch, you get the fuck up out of here.
Like I
Right.
think that's everybody though. I think you can encounter Latino people that have a fetish and Korean people and Asian people that have a like if let me tell you something. You ever dated a Filipino person?
Not dated, but
You ever been around some Filipinos from
Yeah.
Long Beach? Them is niggas. Them is niggas.
Well, I
Nigga
mean,
said you ever-
okay, I
So-
can give you
so
a
been around?
I know
today,
that new, but
today,
I,
today one of them and then she called me nigga, I would be like, I can't do this no more.
right. I don't want
Because
you to do
me,
that.
Exactly. That's the same appropriation that I just be you. Just be you.
Right.
Don't try to be what you think I'm.
What you think I want? Right.
Yeah, no, don't try to. That's
ain't
my
doing
whole
that.
point. Is
Yeah.
I think there's every race does that to a degree. Black people are the most imitated people in this world, so I think everybody.
Right. And
I think everybody's gonna do that.
and
in
everybody
some
want to
way.
be black until
Like
it's
your-
time to be black.
Yeah, everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga. Paul Mooney, yeah, God bless him. That's a fact. But my whole thing is that I don't make that a thing. Like I don't
Okay.
even. And I hate how people say that. Like I see
But you
it.
think we fetishize them as well?
Of course.
In what way?
Like I hear like you hear people all the
Success.
time. Like I'm gonna get not even
Some.
success. I'm gonna get me some white friends because you niggas don't know. Like I heard niggas is splitting the bill. You go to dinner and gotta split the bill.
But that's what
That
I
is
mean
the
by
blackest thing ever. Like white people do not split bills.
Okay, what they do? So one person just get it?
I got it. Tom.
That's what I mean by success. I feel like
Okay.
they think
And
white
then-
people
so
live like
they-
this.
exact-
this
but what I'm saying is,
supreme life.
For whatever reason you aspire to have it. It can be
Yeah.
a supreme life. It can be that you feel like they avoid.
Now, is it they don't split the bill or they don't do like we do? Because we will micro that bill.
It's
I
a
only had
I don't
3
ha-
croutons on my salad, so
It
I'm
don't-
not paying this $16.
It don't matter. It don't matter what you, however you want to slice it. They don't have as many hassles when
Okay.
they got to go out. They can just go out and be out. They don't have as many hassles. White people have more fun. They
I don't
just,
like that either.
Woo! White
I like
people
just
buy
splitting
stuff.
it. Let's just split it. How much is it? Okay, let's just split it.
Yeah. So my whole thing is that it's so many different things that we all like. I think we all fetishize everybody. Like when we all talk about going to Dubai and it's a whole bunch of different money out there. Like we expect every Arab got Arab money. Everybody from the Middle East got Arab money, got oil and Bentleys, and that shit ain't real. Everybody think they finna
Right.
be Rihanna and go find him a billionaire boyfriend because he got a beard and an accent. That's not real. Like we fetishize so many other people too. Like we fetishize Asian people. Me love you long time. You expect Asian girls to be docile and weak and
Well, I want
submissive.
the billionaire.
That's what I'm saying. We expect, but I think black people, we just think everything comes in a certain package. Black people, that's why we invest so much in aesthetic and optics that if somebody else can give us the aesthetic or optic that we believe success looks like from them, then we good. We believe in the chain and the car and all that.
But I think, well, okay, when I say fetishize, like you hear white women and gay white men, they always want some BBC. That's what they always say.
But this is what I'm saying, though. You can't. Black people are the most beautiful people on this world.
True that.
We are. If you wanted to fetishize looks, you would be fetishizing black people. You wouldn't be fetishizing nobody else for looks. You fetishize other people for other things. If you think I'm lying, really sit down with a black man who date white women and ask them. It's gonna be because they think they submissive, docile, like you said, no attitude. But it's not because they have money. It's not because they're beautiful.
Of course not.
You've never heard a nigga sit there, because white women are so beautiful. Because if you was really looking for beauty, you would be fetishizing about black people. We fetishize different, but none of these fetishes are going to be, more times than not, these fetishes are very rarely going to be appearance. You're never going to hear a black dude be like, oh, I love them flat booties. I date white women because I love them flat booties.
Yeah, like
that's
niggas,
never gonna happen.
Niggas will gas
that's not how it goes.
Niggas will gas up a white
I love her
chick for a
because she
black woman
don't
come
talk
to stop.
back.
Yeah. Well, white women are building their booties up now.
And you know why though?
Everybody
because niggas found out. Guess what? I can have the best of both worlds, and I can have a white girl who don't talk back, and she can have a black girl booty.
Mm-hmm. Well, ain't never gonna be a black girl booty, but
even
that
I
can add some
GMO.
I can get some GMO black girl booty. I can add some nutrients and some preservatives to it.
But like we said
corn
before,
syrup.
I think we were talking about like I don't know. I think it's about like the perspective, like the narrative that like white women don't talk back. I think sometimes like
even that, I
feel like we talked about this like early on, like the idea of like, because it's been bounced around here, like the idea that black women like are really mouthy. Like I think that I don't know. Like I think it should be more focused on people to have, for both sides to have a perspective of the opposing party. Like you look at black women and go, she's not mouthy. Her life is way different than like Becky's. Like Becky had like, and Becky might be like really.
That's how many scars she got when she showed.
But you can't convince me. You can't convince me that white women. If y'all get into an argument, one of them times she ain't gonna pop that N word.
Like she's like, that's what I'm saying. Like I think nigga. That's what I'm saying. Niggas have this perception in their mind that you have conflict in relationship. That's how this shit works. I think niggas don't want to deal with. Maybe because Patrice O'Neal had a joke about it. People really sleep on the knowledge that was Patrice. Shout out to the guy. But like on the front end, he had this joke and it talked about on the front end, white women were more pleasant than black women. And on the back end, there's nothing like a black woman's love. But on the front end, you deal with, and the things he talked about, really you deal with, maybe there wasn't a father in the house. Maybe she did have to do more because she is a black woman. You know, she's gone through much more in her life. She's, you know, might be a single mom. She's got to hold shit down way more often than a white woman would.
Yeah, or I just think it's balance.
And I just think niggas don't, like, black dudes don't see that perspective. And on the flip side, there are things that black men go through that people don't understand. So you just are viewing it through your lens, and now you have this idea of what they are, and it's not true.
I think it's two things. I think it's what you just said, that white women are more pleasant on the front end than on the back end. And I think that's because of this. I think black women are more pleasant on the back end because in reality they know how much they're going to hold you down. So I don't have time for all this other shit. I'm here for the real shit, nigga. I don't have time for your other shit. I don't have time for anything else that you're going through because I'm going to hold you down when you lose your job, when you get cancer, when you do this. So I don't have time for you to be out here creating no extra shit for me to have to hold down for you. I don't need you to be out here creating no extra babies, relationships, none of that shit for me to have to hold down.
And all you going to say is, okay, and go right up here and do just what she said.
But no, that's not always true. But I say that because it's just balance. If I'm gonna hold you down so much on this back end, on this front end, I can't have all this for you. White women, on the other hand, they're gonna give you everything on the front end because I'm gonna leave if you lose money. So I'm just gonna treat you really nice right now. Because
she ain't gonna tell you that. But
no. But what I'm saying is that it's kind of. I'm not gonna say implied because I don't want to throw cast a broad thing, but it's something that is coming to be expected because it's happened a few times and that's usually the story that's told.
So you being an athlete. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you get a white woman? Because I see your child. You have a sister.
Yeah, I don't.
Shout out to Graham. Shit.
I don't. I just never. My mother
And
always.
that shout out the black family. Love it.
Yeah, my mother always just instilled in me like black love. My parents was black love. Like I was raised in a black house. You know, picturing Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all these black people. My father used to make me do book reports, not only just during Black History, but every month I just had to pick a different black person to do. So when you do that, you start to realize.
And you still slept with
Wow,
Becky.
them motherfuckers still
Huh?
really.
And you still found time to sleep with Becky.
Read from the same book.
But it's because I
That's
didn't
crazy.
understand. Like I have a white grandmother. Like my dad's mother is white, so I don't.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't have I don't have that. Like my dad's mother's family still
I'm
owns.
sorry, I want that as a sound. Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, like my great grandfather owned a plantation. So my her white brothers and sisters that are just all white still own that plantation. So I don't, you know, I have great aunts and shit that still own the plantation that my great grandfather
On
owned.
the plantation.
Yeah, so I don't have, and even with that, like my grandfather is blacker than his iPhone. So I don't. Her husband is blacker than his iPhone. So what you want me to tell you, sir? Like I don't.
On the plantation.
Yeah, I mean it's just ain't nobody still working on it no more. I promise.
I mean-
But it's just a plot of land now. But it was a plantation. Like they just didn't let
Like
the
down
land
in Georgia
go.
or something.
Nah, it's in New Orleans. I mean, like right outside New Orleans, in Louisiana. But yeah, she's French Quarters, all that. Like they from so. But yeah, like for me, we didn't grow up with that in our family. We didn't grow up with this is color struck or nothing. Like I got cousins light skin, white, black, everything. So I can't be. I don't get caught up in it. I acknowledge and I understand the power of it. I just don't let it control me. I don't let the power of it control me. I still define what characteristics I'm gonna judge a person off of. And if I meet somebody and they just don't mesh with those characteristics, or we not aligned on how we choose how to look at each other, then I'm gonna just move on.
No, I mean, I do judge people on how they are. 'Cause like I said, it was because this past week it was a white man that helped me out with my situation, me being in the hospital. So I'm cool with some white people. I am, but as far as dating,
No, I'm just speaking of
not
to
interested.
me that's
I'm
what I'm
just not
saying.
interested.
I'm saying like romance, intimacy, any of that.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's not about like. To me, it's a set
It ain't
of
about
qualities.
color, but it's about. It's not about color, but it's just me. I just don't trust them enough to do that.
Yeah, for me, this was my whole thing though. Like how you say that, I used to be like that. I just didn't trust people in general. So what I had started to realize was, I would make people jump through. So I was making people jump through additional hoops, and by the time they were finally through all of the hoops that I had needed them to jump through for me to trust them,
Tired.
they was tired and didn't want to deal with me no more. And then all of a sudden at that point, I was like, wait, but I want you around and I love you. And they was like, nah, but you just be on that bullshit. And that made me be like, oh, these people are so cold and so hard.
But
it was really
I
shit
get
that
I
I
have trust issues.
yeah.
I ain't never made nobody jump through no damn hoops, but I got trust issues too.
No, sometimes you don't realize you making people jump through no hoops, but when they trying to knock down that wall and earn your trust, a lot of that shit is unnecessary shit and be shit that's going around. You be like, hey, motherfucker, come on now. As a person who understands that I have trust issues and a person who's had to earn the trust of other people who have trust issues, it's certain things that I be realizing. It's like, yo, my nigga, come on now, you doing too much. And it's sometimes that's both ways though. It's in those people and it's in myself that I realized that I was making people go through some serious, like some of my best friends, like guys, my homeboys and shit, like they be like, nigga, do you know we was gonna like how much shit we had to go through before we was really like
it's cool with you.
yeah, like, and I was just like, they was like, nigga, why? And I'd be like, I be having to make, at a certain point in my life, I had to make sure everybody around me was willing to handle business the way I handled business. So before I could let you be around me, I had to see and know that you was gonna handle business like that.
I can feel you on that.
So that was just my thing, but it was just because how extreme my life was, how I was asking people to handle business. For some people, it was kind of a shock, and they was just like, dog, you doing too much. And when that would happen, I would be like, fuck you, you bitch ass nigga. You just not trying to be my friend. You not just trying to hold me down and be real.
Wow, that makes it sound like I just have reckless abandon.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I have.
you can
no,
take that and
no
apply it to
care for
whoever you
myself.
want, however you want. What I'm telling you is the
Christ.
level of extremes and just my situation.
But me, I mean, because like I take the word friendship seriously.
Without a doubt.
Like you just can't. Like I know, because people always say, Kyrie, damn, you know a lot of people. You friends with them? No,
got a lot of associates.
I know a lot of
associates.
people.
Yeah.
But I'm not friends with everybody.
No, without a doubt. Like it's not a lot of people.
Like my best friend, when he came on the show, and I told the story, I knew we had been friends for a long time, but I knew we were best friends when he had came. He was living out here at the time. He came back home one weekend, and a situation happened in the club, and this dude was trying to fight me, but his friends. So it was 4 of us. Well, it ended up only being 2. They were trying to fight me because one of the dudes kept saying I was trying to holler his dude or whatever. So
Yeah, got you.
yeah. So they were trying to fight me, but my best friend was gonna fight me. And him was gonna fight the whole crew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other 2 dudes that we was with
Yeah.
wasn't gonna do shit. I said, "Oh, I can rock with you forever."
Yeah.
We've been best friends since. Rock on him ever since.
Yeah, more times than not, for me, the people that are close to me in my life is either I was about to fight with you or I was about to fight with you. Like either we
Right.
was gonna
We
fight
gonna
some
fight
people
each other,
with
yeah.
you. Yeah, we was gonna fight each other or we was gonna fight with each other. But and that's my best friends. It's like him when I met this nigga, like I met him with a group of people who didn't like me, but I didn't know how much they didn't like me.
Wow.
And so when they finally told me like, yo, we was going, I was like, damn, that's crazy because I was gonna stab one of y'all. Like somebody was gonna go with me. So like the idea was probably gonna be TJ because he was probably gonna be the first nigga that was gonna swing on me
I'm a peaceful person, yo.
at the time. Like in this time in our life, like but I always carry a knife. So like I was explaining to them niggas like, yo, whoever would have been the first nigga to take off on me, he was gonna get poked up. He was probably gonna die. But
I don't understand. Well, I didn't know you back in the day. I don't
Yeah.
understand nobody not liking you because you cool as shit.
It was.
Yeah,
It was kind of one of like
It was-
the way we met. It was gonna be some nigga shit. Like
Okay.
not all of us had a reason not to like him. We just knew somebody, and they had
somebody
a story.
was having dealings with somebody that I was having dealings with. And they
Yeah.
thought we was having the same
They
type
thought
of
y'all
deal.
was-
No, yeah. So he was one of he was in a group of friends, and I had dealings with somebody he was currently having dealings with, and I was coming down to the college where they both was, and she was telling him like, oh, this like because I was best friend. So he was like, oh, best friend. She was like, best friend is coming down. And this nigga like, oh, best friend, huh? So he like, nigga, I'm going to let best friend know that like she got a new man and all that. So
See, that's that insecure shit, but I get it.
No, it wasn't insecure because what he thought was happening was happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
it
like
was.
what he
it
thought
was
was happening was
like the
happening.
like
So-
it wasn't even. It was a bad.
Bad.
It was just a bad situation.
Yeah,
but it
like-
just turned out like fuck around to be like, oh yeah, this nigga cool.
Yeah,
this
right.
nigga's
Just like-
cool.
And look at us now.
yeah, it was just a bunch of
Yes.
real niggas end up running into each other, and despite the situation, real niggas still
what's
just
up.
linked up. But it was one like after we became cool and becoming real niggas, they finally decided to tell me like, yo, this is gonna happen here, and I was like, yeah, whoever been that first nigga, he was gonna die though.
And y'all's gonna over pussy.
Not over pussy, it was more of a disrespect because
At the end of the day.
a reputation, like my reputation preceded me of who I was out here, and that was anticipated that that I was gonna bring that energy down there.
Okay.
Like who I was out here, I was trying to escape, so I was going to really be on some regular cool shit. But the idea of who I was and what I was out here was preceding me and was going to landing me in trouble with people before I had even got there.
Stories like
because they
this.
was bracing for a war that I wasn't even trying to come with.
Right.
Stories
so it
like
was
this
like that.
always remind me of how like you could just progress because college me was dumb because there's a lot of aspects and he's probably 100% right because I didn't need all those aspects. I was in college. You just needed to give me a direction. I didn't really take. I was
Yeah.
there. I wasn't with no planning. I was like, where we going? Who we doing?
So that's what I'm saying. TJ probably would have been the first one to run up to know who he was back then, to know the situation.
I can't even see it. Cause like he's so peaceful.
Yeah, like I'm both of us now, but back in the day, like we always tell people it was a different story. So for me,
That's what's up.
and I'm not like I was telling people, I was telling my cousins last night because it was at the house. Me and Mac and Bam was at the house last night, so we was talking, and I was telling them niggas like, I've never considered myself a gangster. I always say like I'm pussy, like I'm scary as shit. So I'm always going to the extreme with situations because I don't ever want to leave it in anybody else's hands for me to like, So if you tell me that you're gonna do this to me, or if I start to sense something, I'm going 100. So don't play 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 with me, like because you're gonna lose. Because I'm going 100 as soon as I find out we in a situation. So that's why I was just like, if I would have seen in a situation where I would have like, if he wouldn't have knocked me out with the first punch, and I would have had a chance to regain myself and realize I was being jumped.
And now that's some pussy shit to jump. I think to jump somebody. I've always thought
it
that.
is.
I've always thought that.
'Cause
Yeah.
I've never
been
been
jumped in my life.
I've
Yeah.
never been like a jumper. That's why like I was whenever niggas talked about it, I was like I can go, but I was like we not gonna jump nobody. Like I
know
could
what?
just go.
I've never been a It was very few situations in my life that I encountered back like in those days where it was like I had a situation with somebody who was a singular person. It was more times than not a group of people versus a group of people. So
That's
if
how
we
all ours
caught
were.
you, we understood that you wasn't gonna be by yourself. So we was always all ready to fight because it was never the idea that we was beefing with one person, and when we find this one person, we gonna do this to him. It was normally like we beefing with them group of niggas, and just how we all roll 2, 3, 4, 5 deep all the time. They always roll 2, 3, 4, 5 deep. Okay. So it was never a jumping. It was more of a group fight, and there has been situations where you've been the last nigga to exit the fight, and like you get what I'm saying. It's 5 versus 5, and we done whooped on 4 niggas' ass, and they done left you. You just the last nigga to be able to get up and run out the circle. So it is 5 niggas on your ass right now.
And
that's different than jumping. Like, that's just you was the last nigga to get out the group fight.
And we used to kind of run it like, I'll go with you just to make sure nobody touches you. Yeah. But you gonna run the
we would literally just make sure that niggas was around to run. And what more times than not will be is like, somebody on the losing side's person would jump in and be like, nah, you're not finna do my friend like that. And then that would start
you broke the rules.
Okay, I get that. Yeah. Like that day in the club, my best friend was like, you know, because he saw what was
happening. And I'm sure your best friend was like, if you wanna do a head up with him, I can go ahead and get y'all situation off. But if anybody else, exactly,
y'all not gonna jump him.
So it's more times than not. My situations, it's very rare that I've had a situation with a person that was just like, oh, it's me versus Kyrie. Like, Kyrie don't like Eric and we finna go. It's very rarely in my life been there. I haven't had many problems with people personally myself. It's more times than not. Like, my position in my group of friends has made me be the person that comes into things. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Because I've never been approached by a motherfucker. Like, me and my friends have never been approached by a person who was a singular person. Like, it's never been any, because we always roll. I've always had groups of friends. So I've never had a person just singularly try to walk up and be like, I want to fight TJ. It's just like, you didn't think that was going to turn out good, so you just didn't approach it unless you had a group of people with you.
Right. This moderate trip down memory lane is hilarious, because I just think about times like he said, like, you know, like, either I'm fighting with you or I'm fighting. It was not even just on fight shit, just on people have lived lives. I'm really the most regular nigga, and I would be the first nigga EJ be like, hey, you need to, I'm here. Yeah. And it'd be groups of niggas like, what do you, honestly, I go to class. There's no real reason, like, if you want to be, and I've always been that aspect of me. I've always been, I'm not gonna lie to you, nigga, like, there's no reason for me to be here. I just have a uncanny ability to be loyal to friends. So whatever we're doing or not doing. TJ's
essentially trying to tell he's been in a room holding me down. He's been in a room with some really sketchy characters.
This was, and to me, like, the funniest shit about, like, him and, like, parents is EJ said this shit one time, and my mother fell out laughing, and I was like, you're not supposed to laugh. You raised me. She, like, he came to the house, and we was all just kicking it, and he told my mom, she's like, you know what? This nigga really is just Trey if he didn't get out the car. And my mother fell out, and I was like, hey, man, like, that's what kind of fucking family shit is dynamic is this shit? It's sure her ass. She took it like, I ain't raised no bitches. I was like, we're professionals. This is a professional household.
Yeah, so for me, man, that's just kind of been it. It's always been like, and because it's been that, I've had friends like TJ, and I've had friends that were, I used to have to always talk them off the ledge, quote unquote. So it was just always varying groups of people. And there's been situations where I would get into personally that now all those people like come together like Voltron. And
that's cool.
In that room, it's so many varying personalities. TJ is like, oh yeah, I'm a therapist and I work here. And other people are like, oh yeah, I just do this for a living. He's like, you do this for a living?
Hey, that's my favorite.
I do this for a living. Like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Yeah, it pays good. Like, they just, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just different. It's just different. And I think, I don't know, I've tested the nigga loyalty a lot, often.
No, when he was going through that shit, he said that's all 100% shit.
Oh, no,
But there were just moments in that, I think, also where I was maybe too dumb to see this is a, like, you be testing people. I just was like, can we eat at some point while we out here? I know whatever. Well, I don't care. I'm just really hungry.
I think it was that time in your life where you need a little bit of excitement. Like, you go through your late teens, early 20s, and even mid 20s. There's just some part of you, like, when you look back at that stuff as a 30-year-old adult, you be like, oh my God, I would never do that. Like, do y'all understand the level or the gravity of trouble we was in at that moment? And just, we thought it was fun.
But from then to now, it's called growth.
Yeah, and I think now with the growth, we understand what we were really in and what we were really doing at those moments. But for me, that took a lot of things. Nigga, a lot of... Let me tell you something. The feds came and got me at work one time.
Ooh. That ain't fun.
Nigga.
This is the best story.
Nigga. When I'm talking about the niggas that come in the men in black suits.
Oh, that shit.
They came to get me from work one time. That is the type of shit that in my mind when I left, like, I laughed. after I left the meeting with him, like I was cracking the fuck up. And I was just like, yo. But now when I think back, I get scared now more than I did at that moment. Because at 30, I understand. I'll be turning 30
What could
this
have
year.
happened.
Exactly. I understand the gravity of the situation. Back then, I thought it was cool because it was like the movies. And I was like, the feds just came.
Ain't nothing
feet
fun
kicked up.
about the feds.
Yeah, I'm doing shit that I seen in the movies. I'm putting my feet in the other chair and shit. Like, I'm doing that while this nigga's like, get your feet out the fucking chair. What are you doing? He was like, do you understand? You finna go to jail? I'm like, he's like, prison. You going to prison. I'm like, huh?
Sitting there like Anthony Anderson off Transformers. I'm going to eat all these donuts.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm in here like, we in the back of my job. They came and pulled me into like this back office at work. I'm thinking like, oh, this is, I'm like,
You taking it as a joke.
Yeah, they like, we from the da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, really? Ha! I'm kicking up my feet like saying shit that I've heard in movies.
Ain't nothing funny about the feds.
Nigga, I'm talking to the nigga. I said, I want my lawyer. He said, nigga, this not that part. I said, what? He said, this not that part? I said, oh. He said, we not asking you for that. He said, he said, this is not the movies. He said, nigga, you better tell me where and who and when and why and how and what. Nigga, you better say it right now, too. I was like,
they didn't have your phone tapped?
Nah, I'll explain it off air. I was young and dumb. It was a sloppy situation.
I just said it because, like, that's happened to me.
They didn't need to. They didn't need to.
happened
That's
to
how
me.
bad it was. That's how bad it was that I was doing some shit right in front of their face, and because I was doing it so in front.
Was aggressively
man, look, let me
young.
just yeah.
This is aggressive youth, like
Yeah,
this
it's
the way
so
they should
it's
say,
like
yo.
it's really like, you know how you so young and dumb that you just so happen to get through it, like you just happen to like through a situation because you so dumb that you a dumb motherfucker,
You gotta
and
take
you
care of
so
fools and babies.
dumb that they can't even get you. They're like, this nigga too dumb to even get. He did dumb shit on top of dumb shit on top of dumb shit, and now we can't even get him because he did so much dumb shit. We gotta let him go.
But I wasn't young. I was 32.
That's still young. That's still young.
I was 32, yeah. So
Yeah,
I
32
wish
shit.
your mama's advice would have came handed in. Watch who you mix paint with,
You gotta watch who you
because
mix
it
your paint
wasn't.
with.
Because of course it wasn't me. I've never done anything but I sold weed. That was it. But because of who I was
mixing your
who
paint
I
with.
was dealing with at the time, yeah, then my phone got tapped. So and it was
Yeah.
funny, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I said the feds ain't no joke.
No, they don't come in a nice way. Like when they come, they
Nah, ain't no
come
joke.
full force. Do you guys? Okay, so do you know who Joey sipping?
yeah, remix.
My tongue got tied in a knot right there, nigga. Do you know who Joey Diaz, the comedian, is?
I can Google him.
Okay, when you leave here, Google him. Joey Diaz talks about, he's a comedian, but he talks about his life and mostly his experiences and stories and shit. So he talks about his godmother, who's a Puerto Rican woman who was kind of like your complexion. He always says she's like a brown-skinned Puerto Rican. She was Afro-Latino. And talks about Santeria, like talks about the practice of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me. Talks about how it just when we talked about mixing paint and how you talked about your dealings with somebody and how it got you in trouble, it made me think of that. We're closing the show, so it's just gonna be a random topic real quick. Have you guys like basically what it was for him? It was like Santeria basically showed him, the spirit showed him that he should never do business. Showed him certain things. One of the things was you should never do any business dealings where it's you and two other people. You can't do anything in threes. So like if he's doing crime or something, or something that'll get him in trouble, he'll never do it in threes because one of those two people will tell on him. But that was what he learned through Santeria, like in the palm readings and all that. Do you guys have like superstitions at all that you carry in your life that you don't do for any type of reason or experience or anything like that?
Not that I can think of.
I know that there's something
Where you be like, I don't go to clubs off Manchester because there's a club got shot or something. Like, do you just, whatever it is, nigga, like, do you have certain things that you now don't do because of the experiences of something or the ideas of something? Like something that you staunchly can remember. Not something, I'm not talking about like that one time where like you fuck somebody and you kept coughing and you couldn't realize why you was coughing. And then you be like, please, God, if you help me, I won't never do this again. And no, not that, because we all know you still did it. That shit that you really like. You one time you was like, no,
I don't think I do.
like I'm staunch. Like he ended up doing a deal with three people. It was a drug deal going wrong, and he ended up doing 7 years in jail behind it. And that was the thing.
After he knew not to.
But he's tried to fight it. And that's where he ended up because he knew it. His saints told him and he knew it. But have you ever had something where you've ever like you've known or you've been told like, hey, if you gon' and you still
did it.
It was like, fuck it, I'm immune to it. I'm gonna do it. And then you end like fuck.
Regret it. Something happened.
Yeah. Like, do you have anything? Can anybody?
I don't know if it's like superstitious shit though. Like
Not superstitious. I'm not gonna say superstitious. Just something you might have learned a lesson from, or something you've been told not to do. I ain't even got to be superstitious. Just like my mom always raised me not to. My granny always told me to never. No, nothing.
I mean, but it's the usual shit. Just
Never
like,
say
you know,
Never say never.
What's something you've taken from an experience in your life that you really consider a lesson, like that you always abide by?
Well, it's kind of the stuff we talked about before. Like I am like a staunch believer in change. I'm staunchly on like
fuck
balancing
that,
my
fuck
life.
that,
like,
not that.
Yeah, see, like that's where
no,
I'm
nigga.
at. Like,
I mean, like I don't do this with these type of this, like
Okay.
like, or I don't do this because of like I had this and I'll never again. Like, do you? That's the shit I'm talking about right there.
I don't know if I have
Like Kyrie had an experience where his phone got tapped, so now he'll be like, I'll never ever deal with another dude who dabble in this.
Oh,
Well, that's not true. Cause
No, I'm not saying that. I was just an example. That was just something I had consequence
Right.
in.
yeah.
Okay, like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I'm trying to make it not wordy because I'm thinking of it as it comes together, like something that I've experienced that I don't want to go through again, or like I've learned that lesson.
Yeah.
Well, no. Okay, I will use that. Yeah. I don't deal with. I can't say that though.
Even if you break it.
Okay. I don't deal with street dudes because of that reason.
Okay.
Mine would be like what we talk about, like, and you know, I don't necessarily want to deal with the unaccountable, like those who cannot check. Yeah,
That's
see,
so
like,
broad.
like I'm trying.
Like
not,
for me, I okay. So
like
for
I'm
me,
trying
like
not to
one
make
that
it
I
broad,
had
but I'm
put
trying
on
not
a-
to be specific of that person.
love them, but I had told myself at one point, I got to stop bisexual women. Like something like that. It's like
She dumped you for a chick.
Nope, not at all. Just I've realized that the balancing of their emotions is too much of a pendulum, and it just swings both ways and it cuts both ways. But it's like the expectation for emotional responses that come with like they want the idea of a man aesthetically and in my experience, aesthetically and in certain aspects, but then the emotional responses are always that of a woman that's wanted. And I just never had that balance.
That's not confusion.
Exactly. So I committed to never dealing with it. I never kept that commitment to myself. But
Yeah, see, I don't know if I had it. I mean, technically that person falls in that. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, you said it. You said it, but you
But it's still pretty broad though. Like,
yeah,
it
accountability is
sounds
a broad thing to me. Like I'm
Like,
not
yeah,
gonna know
it's-
nobody.
But you are speaking on a specific
Yeah,
circumstance.
just people, and I'm not saying like necessarily within the relationship, just like being able to be accountable for your part in your situations, like not
So
always,
self accountability.
Take
Yeah.
account for your bullshit.
like not like granted there are certain things that will that are outside of your control. Somebody did that to you, but in every situation, but I know this is my own personal thing that I have to not put on. Maybe it's that not put my own personal views on people, because I'm always like in anything bad, my first instinct now is to look at what part of that did I contribute to, and not always that. Because I kind of I've ended up as the person like, okay, this is bad happening to you, and it is my job to sit here and listen to your bad thing instead of going, all right, my nigga, that's your fault though. Like, we've been sitting here for 20 minutes listening to you yell about whatever. Like, I guess being an enabler.
I think that comes.
That might
from,
be it. Not being
an
But I think
enabler.
that
being
comes
an
from.
enabler.
Okay, so I
And
always fuck it.
under
We
the
talking
veil
about
of-
you
yeah,
on this
being
one.
a veil of
I hate
love.
to do this. I always say
Why?
that comes from low hanging fruit, though. I always say that he has a tendency at times to pick low hanging fruit. Sometimes because he doesn't always want to, because he doesn't force himself to take a certain level of accountability, he now has to enforce that on his partner. If he would just take a certain level of accountability of upfront realizing certain things about people, then he wouldn't later have to force that level of accountability on them if he would have just accepted it himself earlier. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, what he's like to me.
Like he's a therapist by profession. His profession is to help people. His livelihood, his purpose is to help people. But you have to know when to take that and leave it in your career, and then take it in your.
Because I'm about to put a plug. Will posted some shit about that. It was kind of in the sense of like Will posted some shit the other day, like you being so much of a person you think it's your obligation to help and fix others that you bring bad
You
shit
bring
into
their problems to you.
Yeah. And so like and like for me sometimes like it'll be like that'll be my version of, because that's kind of like one of my, I've learned like that's one of my, like I'm not exactly, as much as I talk on here, I'm not the honey booby bear, but like my way of giving to my partner is I can help with that. Like I can, like I'm still like not traditional man as I go out and like I'm not putting together no engine, but I can fix this. You give me a problem, then I'm gonna be able to like, that's how I work.
He might not go put his hands on the engines, but he'll find the resources of someone who's going to come put their hands on your engine.
But I'll do that at every level.
Right.
So if you
but
give
you
me,
because you can't help everybody.
yes, but so if you give me an emotional thing, I can see what the issue is. Like, oh, you, like we talked about earlier, you might need to go talk to your mother. If like I can do that for you. Like, okay, cool, because I did that. But if you're not ready, it's either I got to shit or get off, and I'll sit there with that.
Okay.
So I don't want anybody else think I'm out here dating bitches with one eye. But some of you motherfuckers out here that are, you know, like, man, she not a toxic piece of shit, man. She just going through, like, I'll fuck around and do that.
He'll
if I
do
fuck
that,
with you, if I end up fucking with you, I'm down for like, all right, cool. Like I can help you build through this shit. I give people the same respect that I would want given. So if we gonna build, then we can. That's part of the get down.
But you don't want to build her up and build this.
That would be the issue he's talking about. I've been in a situation before where it's like,
that's double work.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's his point.
So now you're committed to not building up a person.
Not without them being able to do it. Like you learn
you
from your partner, but you have to
build
build you.
yourself.
Like to me, I
can't
always
do that
believe
for
that
you.
like if you build yourself up, motherfuckers is not gonna even approach you with certain shit.
Yeah,
that's the same way niggas see women on Instagram or people on Instagram like, ooh, they got 10,000 followers. I'm not gonna DM them because they're not gonna respond or they're not even gonna see me because of all of the offers they're fielding. Like bullshit gonna eliminate itself once you solidify who you are.
That's funny. All the offers. What you offering in the DM?
Yeah. Offer for a date. Whatever you about to offer, somebody else is offering. Even if it's, hey, how you doing? The conversation that you about to offer, somebody else is offering that same fucking conversation to somebody. Like don't ever think you the only motherfucker trying to say hi to somebody.
God, you want to be our brand ambassador?
Like, don't ever think you the only nigga that's saying hi to somebody. Don't ever think that. So that's my whole point is that more times than not, that's that same level of intimidation that like.
I want niggas to hear that twice. Like you are not. It's not just like what you just said. Niggas just gotta hear that twice.
Yeah, you're not the only motherfucker saying hi to somebody.
I can't believe she out here talk. Yes, nigga.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Niggas be failing to realize that shit. Like just because you live in LA, you fail to realize like it's 300 million other motherfuckers in America, and now all of them got the internet. So that means it's 300 million motherfuckers that got access to yo bitch,
100 fact,
yo man.
And if
yo woman,
and if they posting,
and as if they breathing, nigga, they gonna find them. Because it could be a Facebook, a Instagram, a Twitter, a DM, whatever the fuck you want to do. It's So, but my whole point is this: when you, like, I always look at stuff, and I don't know. One time, I think me and my girl was watching like one of them reality shows, and somebody threw a drink on somebody. And she asked me, she was like, what would you do if somebody threw a drink on you?
Love hip hop basketball. Wow.
Yeah, something like that. And they threw a drink. And she was like, what would you do if somebody threw a drink on you? I said nothing because I don't have the energy of a nigga you could throw a drink on. Like, I don't even have the energy of a nigga that you gonna throw a drink on.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even the energy that EJ gonna give you. Like, ain't no nigga finna look at EJ like, I'm finna throw this drink on this nigga. Like, no.
It's a trip because at the same time, I've had conversations with him and other niggas, and like shit like that'll come up. Be like, man, that shit crazy when it happened. I'd be like, how the fuck that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
You don't even know. I'm like, I don't, nigga. Like,
what does
certain
that
shit.
even do?
Yeah, like, well, that's just a level of disrespect that you just. To me, in my opinion, that's a level of disrespect that somebody is displaying towards you. And to me, in my head, I don't think nobody could ever feel like get that low on their respect meter for me, no matter what our clash is. Yeah. Like, I've had niggas that I really was like, first off, I'm not going to war with you if I don't respect you. If I don't respect you and I don't find you formidable as somebody to go to war, so yeah, I'm not even gonna talk to you. I'm not even gonna have no dealings with you. So my whole thing is, before I even go to war with you, I gotta have some level of respect for you. So if I'm a nigga that you would throw a drink on, I mean, you have the most minimal amount of respect for me possible. And it's nobody that I'm ever gonna encounter that's gonna have the most minimal amount of respect
for me,
possible.
I will take the drink in my face before somebody spit on me.
No, you're not gonna do none of that.
No, none of that. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. Like, I'm the type of nigga that if you go on the war with me, you better respect me. At minimum, you better punch me. At minimum, you better punch me. However you want to start this off, at minimum, it better be a punch.
But throwing drinks, I thought chicks did that. Dudes throwing drinks now?
I'm just they not. It was just a question. You know how something just happened on TV, and you be like, hey, if you fail, or if you was climbing a mountain, or if you was driving a car fast. Yeah, it was just on some shit like that.
Swiftness.
Yeah, that's why I kept checking the time. But yeah. You know,
shit,
this is a very random. Kyrie, thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Nah, bro,
my
Kyrie the most reliable nigga I've ever met.
come on, man. Set your watch by this nigga, man.
Shit, boy.
So we appreciate you coming through. I'm sorry that I was late, y'all, but you know, life be happening and shit.
Nigga,
But
niggas,
you know what I'm saying?
niggas, y'all, shit, this was dope and shit, nigga. Niggas is shake and bite.
Shake and bake,
Shake
man.
bite.
You know what I'm saying? Keeping it real pimping out here. The Ghost of Robert Beck lives in your boy.
Shit.
What was the song you started off with?
Nigga, that was a while
I didn't listen to it.
nigga, that was
yeah.
wild. There's so much good music this week.
I wanted you to play Sumi. Next episode, we starting off with Sumi because that was just my energy.
Oh no, that's what we started off with.
Oh, you started off with Sumi?
Brother.
Come on, man.
I'm saying.
All right,
y'all.
my nigga.
Nigga, that's
All right,
one in the
thank
books,
y'all for
man.
having me.
Just a dope ass podcast, man. Hit it with it.